Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Cometry Corner, and once again I am joined by my gorgeous co-host with his luscious blonde locks, Corey McGreevy. Corey, tell us a wee bit about who we're going to speak to.
We've got a really brilliant guest on for this week. I'm really excited to speak to him. We've had a wee bit of a chat beforehand. Probably one of the most, how would you say, prominent men, in my opinion, in Irish racing history.
Yep.
He was Northwest Clerk of the course. Ran his own BSB team for a while. Knows all the rights and wrongs.
He's not going to get through his door later on.
Oh, he's going to love it. He's loving this. Like,
he is. And he deserves it too.
He deserves it too. We have Mr. Billy Nutt, MBE.
MBE.
Billy, how are we getting on, man?
Getting on good. To you two boys. Three boys arrived here.
Three boys,
I don't know. I'm not so sure now. We've
hijacked you a wee bit here, Billy.
Yeah, sure, about a crack it.
What we really want to know, and I'm sure the viewers as well want to know a lot more about you and the role that you've played for many and many years. And you're sort of always in the background. You're like the duck above the water and the feet going bucked off, you know.
You can say that again sometimes. Yeah, look, it has been good fun. I know I must be 60 years now, but I'm 81, so I must have been started on bikes when we were about 22 or 23, and it was just a scrambles and grass tracks, and I worked in DuPont for a while, and a few of the guys up there were keen on motorbikes, Tommy McFarlane and Owen McNally and some of the Dohertys.
They're big names, yeah.
And we formed a wee club up at DuPont,
right.
And then we were involved with the North Ireland club, but we decided we would try and form our own club, so we formed the Foyle Motorcycle Club.
Brilliant.
And I think that's maybe still going about to do the odd endurance and things
what
too.
What kind of year would that have been, Billy?
I was in DuPont. I left DuPont in 1973 or 74. So that was in the early 60s. 60. You weren't even thought then?
No.
Black and white days, isn't it?
Black and white days.
Yes.
And so would this have been when Billy Nutt motorcycles kind of collided? Would this have been day dot from...
That was sort of how we got started, and then when we formed the Foyle Club, I was chairman for a while on it, and then we started to run events and grass tracks and scrambles, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then in 1970, I got married, and Isabel, she was a quiz teacher, and she had got a job in Korean, and I was working in DuPont. So we decided to buy a house in Korean, and then I joined the Korean Motor Club, and that's how then the year after that, 1972, 71 was the last year that the old committee ran the Northwest, the Korean Club, and then there was a guy, Ossie McChesney, he was manager over in the Identifit in Limavady.
Okay.
And they used to make bras for women, so the competitors that were over for Northwest was always keen to get over to see the
factory.
The factory. So that was good crack. But then in 72 there was nobody was thinking about running Northwest, so a few of us got together and we decided we'd have a go at running it.
Okay.
But 72 was also the start of the Troubles, and we were called to a meeting up in Belfast, and the government, and we were advised no racing, so unfortunately that was our first year, so we had to go do as we were told for a change. And that was it. So 1973 was the first race that I actually ran. 72 we had the regulations and everything out for it, but it never happened, so, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. And you done that right up to 2000, was Clerk of the course, so there's a lot of changes there.
I wasn't Clerk of the course all the time. I done race secretary for quite a while, and then Tom Steele from the Mad Antrim Club came along, and there was a fella in the club, Jackie Smith, he did Clerk of the course for a while, and Tom did Clerk of the course, and then I did it then. I can't just remember when I started, but I did it for a fair few years.
Done it for a fair few years, so there's obviously a lot of changes from when you first kind of got involved in organising the Northwest till practically you ended in the early 2000s. Obviously, you had your Coca-Cola sponsorship. You had a lot of brand races. Some of probably the most prominent races and the most kind of what's still being heard today was in that era of the Billy Nutt. If you know what I mean.
The Billy Nutt era. You
Billy Nutt era.
hear that. You
hear that a lot. We do hear that a lot, even in kind of short circuit times. Even what we'll get into the champions stuff. Your name is always attached to good things in this country.
Hopefully.
What was the kind of the biggest changes from you seeing at the start from the end with the Northwest? Because everyone knows the Northwest is this massive spectacle. We all see the old road race in Ireland where you see, 100,000, a genuine 100,000 people, where you're going around up past the railway and there's people banked. How did you get it to that stage?
I think we have maybe a wee bit of a false perspective of what the Northwest was. If you look back, and I have some tapes of the black and white tapes, if you see the crowds there, they were lined the whole way around the coast road and things. There's not, I know they're saying so many comes now, and I don't want to get into that, but there was big crowds came there because, there was nothing much else. I mean, nowadays, if you take a man and he has 2 or 3 kids, a Saturday, it's not easy getting away, and farmers, it was a big day out for the farmers and everything. And I've looked at photographs in the past, and I think those were the, yes, I was lucky because I was given a really good event. Ossie McChesney and Bill Stewart and Bertie Anderson. Bertie was the secretary, Bill was the treasurer, and Ossie was the chairman or the organizer. But they left me a very good event.
Right, okay.
And that helped. I mean, the Northwest was known. I didn't have to go over and tell people about the Northwest competitors or anything. Yeah. And then there was a guy, Norrie White, from Motorcycle News. Norrie was a big fan of the Northwest, and he was very helpful when I went over at the beginning and introduced you to people and helped you to get riders to come over and things. So, that was all good. But it's hard to know, it just grows and grows. And the way we worked was sort of, if we made some money this year, then we'd increase the prize money or try and bring something else. If we got it a wee bit tight, then we'd help.
But you always put it back into the sport.
And in those days, genuinely nobody got paid.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And the good thing was people came and offered you. You didn't get somebody, you needed a digger, somebody that came done that brought a digger to you, or they did anything to help you, and that was a good thing. There was no money involved. The only time on the week of the race, we always got our lunch sometime, whether it was in the Edgewater Hotel or wherever it was, and everybody that was involved would have went and got a lunch, but that was maybe only about 30 of us or so. And if you had a car, you got your petrol or diesel paid for, and that was it.
And was that through the whole time of you? Right. See, that comes as a surprise to me, because obviously you see it like the likes of an event like the Northwest, and you see the glamour, you see the photos and stuff, and you think this is like a real, like a multi-million-pound, business. If you know what I mean. And it's surprising when you're telling me that you done it purely off, and a lot of volunteers and a lot of hard work.
Yes.
Just nearly kind of through the love of it.
Aye, but well, just to make it clear, because people always think I'd made money to the Northwest, I never got paid for running the Northwest. That's 100%. But I made money out of the promotion. I had not promotions, because the deal I had done with the club was that if I got sponsorship or brought money into the club, then I would get a certain percentage.
Right.
Of it.
Okay. Yes.
Because then eventually that turned into my job. But I genuinely never got paid for running the race.
To run the race yourself.
But that's how I had made some money out of it.
It is a full-time job, but it turned out, obviously you said, it's a full-time job because you're promoting, you're doing stuff every day.
But I was working.
As well.
I was there 5 days a week. Maybe the boss didn't think I was working. But
so seeing that side of things, when you're talking about your Nutt promotion, so you were saying that obviously like we all know about the Coca-Cola sponsorship and all the big sponsorships that's always been involved, Turpington Windows and all the stuff's came. So you're obviously going out to these meetings, showing them what you have. Not that it's, you know, Northwest is a spectacle in itself. So you're basically treating it like a business as such, or you're trying to get.
That's strange. You know, see, for example, in Northwest sponsorship, there was a guy at a promotion, I can't remember his name, down in Hollywood, and he asked me, he says, look, we've a client here that would be very interested in getting involved with you at the Northwest. Would you be interested? I said, sure we would. And yes, I went up to him just one day and he said, look, this is not just lively, can't remember whether he said the name or not, but they're very keen to get involved with you, and this is what they're offering. You know, and sort of there was no question. I said, and then Jonathan Gates appeared from Coca-Cola. And that was it. Done and dusted.
Just like that.
Just like that. See, most of our sponsorships in those days came Turkington, Trevor. I mean, Trevor came down, and in those days Trevor was sort of a marked man, you know. He had a police car and security and all. And we went into the lodge, or it was the Bowhill at the time, and had a bite to eat and done a deal, and that was it. You know,
so it was nearly quite informal that way. Like, it was more
the same with the TV companies. We did have a bit of a conversation between BBC and ITV, and BBC was likely would have got it, but they were to TT, and they were to let me know, and I sort of got fed up, and I said, oh, right, let's go with ETV, and that was basically how that came. So there was never, we were lucky, people wanted to help. I mean, Jimmy Moran from Moran's down in Portrush came along, and he had a credit card, or not the credit card machines, but the machines, you know, the slot machines and things. You know, and then another two guys that sometimes be forgot about is the Hutchison brothers, Norman and Alan. See, at a time, if it hadn't been for them coming in, because they're local guys, you know, so they weren't putting in thousands of pounds, but they did a whole lot behind the scenes. You know, they were the first to build the grandstands for us and things like that. And you know, CPR still kicking about, and they came on just at a very crucial time, and then Coca-Cola followed them. So and then we had the steel company as well for a while. Again, there was never, it wasn't a hard sell, you know. You just, and then you talked to them, you said, you know, that's what you're getting, and they would say, and that's what you're getting, and that was it. Everybody was reasonably happy. I mean, I think most of our
it wasn't really not necessarily a hard job, but your product was there. Such, if you know what I mean.
It sold itself.
So it sold itself. But yet again, you had to put the hard yards. Everyone, we've explained in our previous podcast, that someone's putting some X amount in, wanting X amount out. But it was always a kind of a nice, calm type of environment to sorting this stuff out. Which probably made your job a bit easier, and then you could focus and concentrate on running the event properly itself.
Because there was an old boy, Jimmy JB Thompson, we called him. Jimmy had a service station, the garage in Korea, and he was chairman. And see, at the beginning, him and I just didn't get on too well because I wanted to do things and Jimmy was the old hand. But eventually we agreed, and I would have had no place without him, because he was key, because he was the kind of buddy, could have talked to anybody, made a joke, could have everybody been all around Jimmy, and then I could have went and talked to the people that I wanted and needed to talk to, because later days I really missed him, because there was nobody there to entertain everybody, and it then became a bit more work. But Jimmy was brilliant. He was an old character.
Gift of the gob. Gift of the gob.
But I remember he raced carts, you know. He raced down at the port, and one night he was down, apparently, right, as far as I know, it's true, he didn't have a very good night. So when he's coming over the rubber band, he stopped and he threw the cart into the river. And I well believe, knowing Jimmy, I'd well believe that. You know, so look, it was all quite good fun. You know, yes, racing serious, when, you know, as you well know, but there were some good days, some good crack at it.
And on the flip side, then, Billy, what would have been the biggest struggle in terms of organise it, was there any kind of, did you ever face any real backlash? Did you ever like have to overcome any controversies kind of in your time?
No, I was pretty lucky. In so much, yes, we had people killed, and the worst, one of the worst was 79 when Tom and Frank and the young fella from Scotland, and that was tough going. And I thought long and hard whether I wanted to be involved in that, but we never had much hassle. You know, people. There was two types of people around the area. Was people who loved the Northwest, and their families were down, they were barbecuing, they were having a really good day or week out, and then there was other people who just didn't want to see it, so they buggered off and maybe let their house out and got a pound or two. So, and there was never.
So it kind of worked itself out.
Yeah, the Ulster Grand Prix was much harder work.
I was going to say, and it has been through right up until it finished.
As far as residents and things go, but no, down here, as I say, you had the two types: the ones who couldn't wait for it to come, and ones who couldn't wait to see it go. But you never give much bother, you know.
Yeah.
And what about the Ulster Grand Prix then? Obviously, you had the Northwest 200, and you're like a dominant person, like everyone. You're the man for the Northwest. Even when you were saying your early days, you know, you were well high up in the club. You were chairman of the club, and then you moved into Clerk of course, Northwest 200. The Ulster Grand Prix, was that again the same thing? Or did you step into it, or did you have
the
to
Ulster
build?
Grand Prix, the Ulster Centre Promotions, I think it was run at a time they ran out of money, and then the supporters club came to me and asked, you know, would I be interested in running it? And I said, well, look, we have a look with it, and I went and talked to them and said, okay, let's have a go at it, and that's how it started. And I was so lucky the first year. I wasn't so lucky some of the other years, but the weather, the sun was shining, spreading the skies, and Joey was there, and David Jeffries was there, and they were a battle, and Joey did the one.
Would that have been 1999?
So,
yeah.
I think it was
98 or 99 it was.
No, it was way bit. It was before that. It was 70, 80. Because Marty started race, and I didn't run the Ulster.
We were thinking about the F&M.
I'm not sure the date, but that was my first Ulster Grand Prix, and I couldn't have had a better Ulster Grand Prix. But the Ulster Grand Prix was hard work, you know.
Harder work than the Northwest.
Oh, Northwest was wee buns.
Compared to the Ulster?
Oh yes, honestly, the problem with the Ulster was, first of all, the area was near where you could collect money, you know. So there was people, the rugby clubs used to come and help it, and there was roadblocks here and there. But the first time I went up to do it, I thought, right, I'll go around these people, and got an envelope, a letter in an envelope, and I had 100 envelopes, and I headed up to Dundrod, and I started down the road, and I told them about the club and who we were and how to get in touch with us and things like that. And I talked, if there was somebody in the house, I talked to them. If not, I pushed them in the door. But I had got down by Wally Patterson's, down that road a wee bit, and I still hadn't got near the first checkpoint. It was way out towards Lisburn. And I thought, holy Moses, how many houses are up here? You know, this is crazy. I know, and they all have to get passes. So then I had a thought, and I talked to a few people, and I said, look, if we brought it closer to the circuit, that would cut down a lot of the paperwork, because I'm not keen on paperwork
on the circuit, basically,
and things like that. And that was dead on. But then there were some guys that were hard work. 10 people that lived around the place. A lot of them had came out from Belfast and hadn't grown up with the Ulster, and them and the previous organisers had a few head-to-heads and things like that. So I found the Ulster was really hard work. And then after the event was over, we used to have to go and repair fences. People would have cut the barbed wire with snips, and it was crazy, the amount of work. The Ulster, but I still enjoyed it. But then at the end of the day, I was just got a few people killed, and I got the wee fella killed, the wee 8-year-old, and I just, that was it. I couldn't have any more of it, and I just thought, nah.
That was the sidecar. That's when the sidecars were not.
No, sidecars, yes, and we took that sidecar to forensic and all. We could not find. I mean, the sidecar driver was killed as well. And then the marshal the next year, Ian Locher coming out and the bike hit him. You know, and I sort of went up there into Cumberland. Somebody met me at the door, took me in, and you were into a room, and everybody was sitting about, and nobody said this is Gerald's wife or his son. I sat as long as I could, and see when I came out, Isabel had gone up with me. I said, look, see when I get this funeral over, that's it.
That's it done.
Because that was the downside to being the clerk of the course or whatever, because, you know, you had to go to funerals, you had to go to inquests, you had to go and meet the people. And
you were very overexposed to it.
And, you know, some of the things you saw, you know, and it just took its toll on us. But don't get me wrong, I would likely still do it again if I got the opportunity. But I'm past that now, so don't be asking.
I was going to say.
I'm sure you've seen in recent news. There's talks of the Ulster coming back in 2027. They've got a bit of funding from the government. I'm not too sure how much it is. I think it's around the region of 400,000 or something. In your opinion, and in your kind of years of obviously managing and, you know, knowing how these events run, do you think it's realistic for the likes of like the MCA or a club, all being it hasn't run in 7-8 years, maybe 6 or 7 years, so obviously life goes on itself. The circuit is just a road at the moment. There's infrastructure built around it, and
all the fencing,
and a long question short, in your opinion, do you think it's going to be achievable?
An honest answer, and I would like to see the Ulster back, because the Ulster, and people will tell you Ulster is a much better road race than what the Northwest is. Because the Northwest 3 straights and that's it, but Ulster is a proper road race course and things like that. But honestly, and the 400,000 is only a drop in the ocean, because nobody is going to do it for nothing, that's for sure. And where you would get the people that you need to run it, the amount of work is unbelievable. And that was my day.
And most of the club members have dispersed now as well.
And sure, you go to any club nowadays and they have a handful of people and that's it. Realistically, I can't see it. I hope I'm wrong, but realistically, I can't see it. The amount of work that would take to get that thing up and running would be unbelievable.
And just going off that, so we know a rough figure of kind of what the government's given. In your heyday, do you roughly remember how much the likes of Ulster or the Northwest cost to run per year?
Yeah, I can tell you, the first year we ran it was less than £5,000, £4,090 something pound. Honestly.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I had a fella that was chief mechanic for Hislop with McNally, and I used to give me dog's abuse because I offered them a £5 starting money, and that's genuine. No, that's genuine. That was, they were getting £10. You know, £20 was.
And that would have been 73.
That was 73.
So what would a wage been? A week's wage in 73?
Well, when I worked in Dupont, I started off there about 26 quid a week.
26 quid a week. See, be first,
and Dupont would pay big money.
Now, I'd take it.
What's that?
Oh, yeah.
Someone offered me a favour, the race would be grateful. Never mind 15 years ago.
I know.
You know,
so,
and that's why it's hard. I don't know, I think it's going a full circle.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So that was in 73, under £5,000.
Yeah.
Got the Northwest up and going.
And I think, I know, I'm not 100% because I never even looked too much, because treasures and that was their jobs. We just got figures at the end of the year. But I think I've been around maybe 500, 600 thousand when I, you know,
that was 25 years ago. Yeah.
You know, so
you could maybe double that now.
That's what I'm saying, £1 million
for a weekend.
For a week's race.
But obviously, there's a lot of logistics that we don't see. There's a lot, a day's racing just isn't a day's racing.
No, it's not.
So that's where the money's
Well,
entailed.
That's where I fell into the commentary side of things, and I'm seeing it a lot more now. See, as a rider, like, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
We
understand that. Like,
I mean, you just turn up and ride and go home. And that was the other thing from my point of view. Spectators came and they enjoyed the race and they went home. Some of them bought programs, some of them didn't, which was one of the gripes I had, you know, because the most programs ever we sold at the Northwest was 13,000 one year.
Wow.
And that's it, and there's supposed to be 100,000 people.
Yeah.
You know, 100,000 is well over exaggerating, because from a gallery now, they're not selling a lot more.
No.
If they're selling that.
See, that's where I don't want to. Obviously, you hear this every year on the BBC that there's 100,000 people in the Northwest. Like, there is a lot of people still go to it.
Oh yes, don't
but
get me wrong, yeah.
There, in my own opinion, and from what I see, it physically can't have that amount of people. For the one is the amount of restrictions, which is there for a reason. It's trying to. There's risk assessments happening all the time, trying to make the whole thing safer for everyone. But for the amount of, you know, just square feet of viewing, you physically couldn't do it.
I think, you know, but realistically, would there be 30, 40,000?
I know.
Yeah.
I was thinking about 30 maybe, because going back to when you were saying about the photograph, the railway lines and you know, the spectators, absolutely, you couldn't see. It was absolutely plastered. There's a photograph. That photograph, was it Robert Dunlop maybe on the Norton? And the train was coming past.
That was fantastic. Yeah, and the crowd still standing on
the sides. I have the exact same photograph, only it's me. On we were talking about the BM on the way up the road. Me going underneath the bridge on the BMW, and there's the train. And the photographer that took that photo said to me he hasn't seen that from the Norton days. And there was nobody.
But as we say, the crowds isn't there. The people, well, they're not allowed to stand there.
Liverpool Corner, I mean, that whole Bankton, we used to have that.
That's right.
You know? And Wilson Buchanan, the Temple Club, used to come and do that for us, collect money at it, you know.
Brilliant.
And see that place, it was, and then the campsite was the other thing. It was some fun.
See, that's something you don't
right, policing all day.
Is that right?
Oh yes,
Well, they were right, police down.
Because
just to keep order.
Just
come on.
So many
boys,
people.
We drink on you know, with the campsite, we had first one up at Mathers Cross. We got a field there, and then we moved down to Portrush, which wasn't a good field. Blair's Caravan, Davy Lockhart gave us a few years, but no, it was the right squads were there trying to keep order.
That's what you hear.
But that was part of it.
Yeah, that was part of it. That's what attracted people. Imagine if you knew that there was a party central beside, like, the beach, beside the water.
Yes.
In May, I would go up now, if you know what I mean.
Not even knowing anything about motorbikes.
But I think we are correct in terms of the numbers. The numbers that are being inflated and bandied about now isn't probably what it is. You can see from
maybe throughout the week.
Maybe, but you're doubling numbers. The same person being counted twice. If you know what I mean. I believe, like, you go to the paddock on like a race day, and there's a wee swarm of people, obviously, you know, trying to get behind Stephen Watson and see their face on TV. You have a bit of that. But then when you're following the helicopter, if you're watching the live stuff, it's not like it's rows.
But look, we fair play to the boys that are running it now, and good luck to them if they can get away with that, because you know they seem to be getting in a bit of money now, and one thing and another, you know. So and I had my day and I enjoyed it, and I have no complaints.
Yeah.
Would you ever, but if the likes of this Ulster Grand Prix coming back and someone knocked on your door, would you help in the background, sort of, like point and no, I'm 81. Do it. Good. You said that earlier. I didn't believe you.
You're still as sharp as us.
You're only back from Tenerife with a good colour.
Fuerteventura. Yeah. No, I'm living the dream at the minute. I'm so lucky. You know, with a good business, and Marty's doing a good job there. And you know, I don't have a lot of money, but I have enough money to. It means it is when I can just go and enjoy ourselves. And you know, and I was so lucky. And our health is reasonably good, so that's all that matters, you know.
And you talk the business, obviously, Nutt Travel, and what gave you the idea of that, I think I roughly know the story, but you know,
that was again, thanks to the Northwest. In those days, we were trying to get competitors to come over, and obviously the boat fare was a problem. How do we get the boat? How do we do this? So I tried to contact a couple of travel agents, and nobody was all that keen in doing. So I rang a fella in P&O, Yule Faulkner, and he says, surely Billy, I'll give you rates for the Northwest, and he gave me rates. How competitive they were, I don't know, but Yule was very good to me, and that's what got me started. Brilliant. So it meant then I was able to do the boats for the guys. Some of them they had to pay, some of them that was part of the package they had, and that's how I got started. And then it built from there, and Coca-Cola came on board, and then we started to do promotions outside Northern Ireland to try and encourage people coming over, and mind going to the Scottish Motorcycle Show, and place where we used to do quite a lot of shows and things, and people were interested in how do we get over, and that's how the travel business came, and then it's just growing and growing. I mean, we're so lucky, and we have a fairly good reputation, and the girls do a good job in the office. They give a good service, and
we've been to a few races, you know, I've been with yourself to like the East Fortune racing against Marty. And you never raced against Marty, did you?
No, Marty was just a wee bit before my time, and I'm grateful I didn't have to race against him.
So fast, so scary. Like I thought I was fast. See at East Fortune that time.
The 600.
First time on the 600, and the top half of the track, big, like right-hander, two right-handers, but you can turn it into one. And I thought I was motoring. This is during qualifying, and I heard this buzzing sound coming from the left-hand side of my bike. I was banked over. I thought, it's blew up or something, and I just looked. I sat up a wee bit, and there's Marty riding right round outside of me.
I'd well believe it.
About twice the speed.
So, Billy, road racing kind of came to an end for you. Then was that when the start of the champions? Or did you have an involvement in short circuits?
Because I ran European championships.
Right, I didn't know this.
Mandela ran them for 2 or 3 years, and then we applied to get to the Motorcycle Union of Ireland. Obviously, I think it was the Fingal Club ran it for Mandela. Mandela wasn't a club at the time. And then I applied for the Korean Club, and we ran at Kirkistown. We did a serious amount of work.
That's right, that would have been in the early 90s, would have been?
Was that like the Casey Stoner came over and all?
No, Casey Stoner came over for the Champion of Champions.
But you would have had the likes of your Reg Slaconis and Max Biagis and stuff, so that would have been I would have still been like the stepping stone to World Championship. I remember reading stuff about this where like our own riders like Alan Patterson and stuff didn't embarrass themselves with this.
I mean, sure, Robert won the 125.
That's correct, yes.
Working at the back of trailer in the back of the car, the van, and he blew all the Italians. I mean, the Italians were there, and the Spanish, and all the federations were there, and they came as a team. And from my point of view, brilliant, because you dealt with nobody other than their steering.
So that would have been the Team Italia's type stuff.
Exactly.
Celtic match sort of thing.
It was brilliant. No, and you've seen the setup we had, and we moved the start down to the far end. Down there, and
coming out of the chicane.
Aye, you know that hard, but down at between Debtors and Colonial 1 and 2.
That's right.
Yeah, the start.
I remember
finish line was down there.
My dad talking about that whenever Trevor was racing.
Yeah,
he was talking about the
chicane
was different then,
and the finish line was there.
See, that's a core accolade in itself to get a European, because that's like the country at the moment can't get a BSB race, and you were bringing European. These were guys who are going to be World champions.
They were.
You would have been like, I remember reading the likes of your Reg Slaconis and stuff. Your team Yamaha France's and bits and pieces coming over. So that's like, imagine someone pulled that off now. It'd be unheard of.
Most of the big federations had their teams there, you know, and their wagons and whatnot all, and then they had their representative, and that's all. And we had translators there, and we had medical people, we had physio people, we had.
This was organised through you, not the teams?
No, we had to have it. It was organised through us.
Yeah.
You know,
Bring back Billy Nutt.
Oh, he's gone.
And so how many years did
You're
you
lucky boy, he's
have
away.
the European Championship rounds for?
I think it was 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So I would have been kind of
3 or
made
4
up of like the early 90s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're still with your Northwest stuff then on the Ulster Grand Prix
Yep.
bits and pieces. So when did this brilliant idea, in my opinion, because I'm still watching it on YouTube, of the kind of the Wednesday afternoon, Champions UTV, you know, covered racing.
You know, it was one of these mad ideas that I had, and I thought, look, why could we run something? Well, first of all, Alan Bremner was the chief of programming at UTV, and Alan, him and I got on very well, and he was very good and really interested in the bikes. And he says to me one time, we were talking, we'd be up with him, and he says, well, no chance of a short circuit, a series or something. Can you come up with something? And we'd be interested. So I thought, right. And Stephen Watson was working for UTV at the time. So we thought, right, we'll have a champion of champions. We'll have 4 or 5 classes. And at the end of the 2 nights, or at the end of the series, there was 4 weekends. I think. At the end of the winner of each class would go to head on a handicap basis.
Right.
And here Richard Agnew came into his own. Richard worked out all the handicaps, and that was
I wouldn't have been easy.
No, I mean Richard just didn't get a lot of thanks for that, but I appreciate it. He worked out the handicaps, and on the last evening, the Thursday evening, we had the race of champions. And the 5 riders set off, I think it was 5 or 4, set off at different times. And obviously the 1-2-5s were away, and then the 2 whatever. And then the first boy over the line got the money.
See, because I only know that purely off YouTube, you know what I mean? And this series ran about 10 years before even YouTube was about, and it's still commanding thousands of views, which equals that it was a brilliant idea, especially for its time. You watch the coverage, and the whole back of Kirkistown, there was boys overlooking the barbed wire fence. It was lined. It was
people climbing.
In my mind, it's the most perfect championship for the summertime.
It was like the
but
Regal.
What made it was the TV company.
Of course.
First of all, they gave me a decent sum of money to run the thing, and secondly, because they were televising riders, people were wanting to get their names on the bikes, wanted to help, and the riders good, because I'm not sure, but I don't think we charged an entry fee.
Is that right?
But you know, we collected money at the gates and things like that, and that was
and that's when racing short circuit wise was very healthy in this country. So you would have had your Mike Swans, Rodney McCurdy's, even the young Lavertys, Michael.
Michael was there, and Eugene, because Marty, the year Marty won it, he just beat Eugene and no more. Because Eugene had been out of the chicane at the bottom before ever Marty got into it, and the big set, I think it was a 750 he was on, actually just the pair to the line. There was very little in it.
None at all.
But and Hilton Hanks was up.
Hilton Hanks, yes.
Because Marty and Hilton used to have some good bands.
He's a pilot.
Yes.
Good 250. Marty, was this before you've done Grand Prix?
Before the Europeans.
So Marty, he would have...
Marty, no, I think it was a 750. Mitchell Smith's 750 he rode. I think it was. You know.
So, see, before I would like to get into, obviously, Marty and the runabout and stuff, but just before we do that, I just have a couple of questions on I think it would be a good time to ask this, but this from all the good the good stories and bits and pieces that you were telling us there. From what you see from road racing and short circuit racing in this country at the moment, what state do you think racing is in?
Do I need to answer that? I think it was always a problem. Clubs working together, it just don't happen, and it still isn't happening because you know you have your own event and you concentrate on that and get it run, and that's that's yours for the year or whatever. And there was never no coming together of the clubs to work together, because I wanted to try at a time to put together a committee of maybe 4 or 5 people, a clerk of the course, a race secretary, a sort of a chief marshal, to run all run. But you ran your event, but these guys came along, you organised and everything, but these guys run it, and you were talking to the same guy, you're talking to the same clerk of the course, you had the same stewards, and that, but you never could.
Does democracy not work in running a good event?
Well, tell me where democracy is working in the minute.
No, well,
really.
No.
So that answers some question.
That's sort of tapering on BSB, the way they run it as well.
Yeah, well, that's where they're the most successful.
That's where I would love to have seen it go, but no, there's no way. No, a committee of 3 and 2 staying at home, in my opinion, is the only thing that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
but
it's a proven kind of product and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Too many chefs and all that.
Yeah.
Aye, and you get people who comes up with meetings upon meetings, and they talk and but nobody ever does anything.
I know.
And boys will come up with great ideas and things like that, but when
and
it comes
never
to,
gets done.
are you for doing it? Oh no, I wouldn't have time.
Meetings about meetings.
Yes,
that's where we're not, like, obviously with the racing I do, I appreciate the clubs putting on things, races. I appreciate the hard work and the effort the volunteers do, but sometimes you nearly have to look at a different type of model. The likes of what Stuart Higgs is doing. Obviously, he's got a proven championship. He rules kind of with an iron fist, and you just yourself. We could talk about that, but
the whole thing just has to run like a business. Yeah.
Once we lost Davy Wood and Imperial Tobacco,
sunk.
Davy Wood. There were people like Davy, people didn't, same as people like me, people didn't, but Davy was a gem.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Because he would have had every class, obviously a different cigarette brand, but that was money.
Yeah.
Every cigarette brand was money.
Yes.
Good prize money, I assume, at the time. A good influx.
Yep.
I'm not too sure because it was at the time, but
no.
Obviously a lot healthier probably than what it is now.
They also helped the Northwest as well.
Yeah.
Put money in there, and the Ulster Grand Prix. No, once the Imperial Tobacco money went, the whole thing fell to nurse, to say, because there was nobody there like Davy Wood. There was nobody in the MCI who could go out and if you have money, you can do anything. And that was why the summer series, the Champion of Champions, because we had money.
Yeah.
UTV gave us money, and then we got gate money because we got a crowd, and it's a vicious old circle. A rising tide lifts everything.
Yeah.
And that's losing that tobacco company was over the head of losing Davy Wood.
No, because the rules came out
that you couldn't
motorsport.
Advertise. Yes.
Motorsport. They weren't allowed to advertise motorsport. No, it was the government that killed that.
Right. Yeah.
So no.
But how do we attract another? I know maybe not Imperial Tobacco again because we can't. But how can racing go forward and attract itself back into them heydays, or do you think the horse is bolted?
I don't know.
Obviously, we'll have STB or SBT Ireland's obviously put a bit of money in for a bit of prize fund. Everyone's grateful for that, but
you're starting to see you got these alcohol companies. Obviously, they give a lot to sport back in the day, but you're starting to see the 0-0s on now.
Yeah, but
and then e-cig companies
probably won't apply in this country. That's the problem.
Well, you can't seem to get them into. I think you haven't got the product. I mean, I hadn't been at the local races for ages because Marty was racing in England, and see, by the time he got the season over, and then we always found when we went to the Sunflower, he got so much grief from whoever, and we thought, and it was cold, it was wet, and it rained, and I just give up, So and then recently I'd gone back because we were doing a bit of sponsorship, and
you were looking after Rory Crieff.
Well, no, that's only just recently.
Okay.
But no, we just we were promoting Nutt Travel, and we used to go up and take a stand and some of the girls and give out leaflets and stuff like that. And the only thing then, I just couldn't understand the racing, because in one class you had maybe 3 different winners.
Don't even talk to him.
I know. That's
Is he trying to keep up with that?
It's impossible.
Yeah.
You know, in the olden days, you had a 250 class, a 350 class, and a 500 class, and the first 30 or whatever it was, they qualified the A group, and then the next one was the B group, and the next one was if they had C groups. So A boys went off, and you had the winner, and the B was a separate race, and you had a winner.
Yeah.
And then from a rider's point of view, as you progressed, then you got maybe up into the Bs and then you got up into the As. Yeah. But now they have super twins. They have. Honestly, I just couldn't follow it.
There's one there. There's 5 different championships in the one race.
Yeah.
See, that doesn't make sense.
No,
either, like
that's the whole problem that I see. And they say, oh, but these boys have these bikes. That's okay. Just let them all go.
Yeah.
You know, and let them go.
A lightweight race.
Yeah, a lightweight race.
Lightweight champ.
Yeah,
that's it.
And let whatever qualifies, set the rules for that, and let it go.
That would make a lot more sense.
But,
see if there was like a 5-class structure or something that you say.
It needs to be something that you could sell to somebody. Yeah. See, at the minute, I mean, what are you going to sell?
No,
you know,
I
too much.
agree.
How many superbikes would you have? 10, 15?
Probably about 15 now.
Probably 15. Then you have your cup class and stuff as well.
And all that. Well, just put them all together.
And then whoever qualifies, and then as you say, you can get your
and back home here, I don't think there's any need for a superbike class. I'm not even sure there's a need for a 1000cc class.
Okay.
In general.
Because of the speed of super sport machines now.
1000cc, yes, is okay, and they're pretty easy to run because there's not a lot of boys can take all the parts in that thing out of it.
You're not ringing it. You're not ringing his neck.
And
you spend more time taking it out. You spend more time taking power out of it.
Yeah, taking exactly. Yeah, 600 should be standard, and then there should be 400 class or something like that. And there is some, I think, 250s now. I'm not even up on what kind of motorbikes you can buy.
There's like 250, 2 strokes. RS out.
You know, so there's no reason why you couldn't get, as you say, 5 clean classes, and it'd take a couple of years to get that sorted out. Superbikes, forget about them. It's standard, but then it needs to be policed properly.
See, well, that's the issue that we're having with the 600 class at the moment. Obviously, manufacturers aren't making 600s no more.
No.
Apart from your Hondas. So the way World Championship is in BSB is they're using a controlled ECU and a loom, obviously bringing bigger capacity motorcycles in, and they're trying to level it out that way. Do you believe that should be the main class over here? Or, like, obviously, there's still manufacturers making super bikes, and people still want that 200 brake type racing.
You could maybe run stock, couldn't you? But then sometimes the stock machines are more wicked.
Well, it's not even necessarily that.
You know, if you take that class that Rory was on, the 400 or 350, there's I don't know, maybe 3 classes there, and there was quick boys in each of the classes.
Yeah.
Well, why can they not be racing? They were racing against each other, but they were having.
But they should all be in equal machinery to make a race out of it.
No,
I fully understand.
They should be racing the flag.
They should be racing the flag, whatever bike you have, as long as it comes within that category. And
because they're all pretty even anyway, aren't they?
Aye, and see, to be honest, the rules, unless it's proper policed, it's a problem. And I mean, even in the olden days, the 350s and the Conrads and the crank pins and whatnot.
Proper racing, proper race bikes.
You know, but no, it would need to be really, really streamlined, because if you're going to get a lot of money, you need something that's neat and tidy to present to somebody. And that's where BSP, they have the money, they have the contacts, and they've built it up over the years. And I mean, that's a big business. And again, the competitors aren't all that well treated from what I hear. You know, I'm not too involved in that end of it.
But it's a proven structure, as you say. They have their classes. There's no madness every year. They don't have, 3 classes in one class and all that stuff. I fully agree with you in that. I believe that, whether we'll have a superbike class, a 600 class, a twins class, and a junior class, and that's it. If you know what I mean? And we all get a decent qualifying and 2 long races, or a long race when you spend over a Friday, Saturday, and make it more like probably the most proven kind of weekend in Irish racing over here is like the Classic Festival.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, because they make it a spectacle.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, we're going to get racing over here looking like that.
But it's promoted.
Yes, it's promoted, correct.
That's the whole thing. Because Marty's young fella, Harry, is doing mountain biking, and they were down at the Gap down at Wicklow, and McCormick, Brian and James Halligan were there, you know, so Marty and them made up that some team, those boys. But Marty says you want to see the presentation there.
Really?
Big screens, and they had 4 cameras on the tracks, and they were sending it back to the screen.
Brilliant.
Big screen, and then they had a prize given against the first 3 competitors up there, and then they had a firework display and all after. Marty says you want to see the way that's promoted.
Brilliant. Well, that's sort of
the promoting. To be fair to Phillip and Robin, they do a fantastic job there. But they promote it. They've got some money.
Back to the as well. Sorry for interrupting.
Nope.
Back to them 2 guys are to answer for. So it's not that there's that club's doing that club. That's their event per year.
Yes.
I work for Phillip, so I know the amount of work he does for that. You know what I mean? So they're from the event ends. Next 2 weeks, they're still having meetings about the following year.
They were having a meeting last weekend.
They're having a meeting last weekend, and they're treating it, as we say, nearly like a business.
Yes.
And that's for one event.
It has to be run as a business.
100%.
It has to make money, because that was always it always seemed to be a stigma about people said, oh, I'm making money out of racing, but if you don't make money, you can't. The Northwest in the olden days, we had to make money or we couldn't keep going
to make it work for the next year.
For making work, so we could put more money into the prize money. It's the same nowadays. It has to work. You'd be better with 6 events like the Classic Festival as ones we have, and it needs to be promoted. And it proved what Phillip and Robin do it. God, Buzzer Robin, not forgive me.
I
meet Robin out in Fort of Enduro that time.
Oh, right, okay.
He's forever hauled in. He's a wild man. He's some call these days.
Sunday it's too.
They put on, and to make sure they're promoted and all, and things like that. Sure, some of the events you wouldn't know they were on.
I know. Well, I work along with them, so I would do the live stream. You know yourself, Billy. You'd be up with me a few times, but is to sort of spread awareness of. There was a couple there. They were Brazilian. Came over to the Tandragee, never seen the race before, never knew about road racing, and they had to make it their life dream or their life goal to see a road race, and they went to the Tandragee. They just downed it up. They knew where it was then. Found out.
So do you think that we were probably talking more predominantly like short circuit stuff there for making a track? Do you think the same applies for road racing? Because they have the same problem with the classes and stuff, or do you think they're still living off the spectacle point of view that you can sit in a hedge and there's a motorbike going by at 140 mile an hour?
Yeah, that seems to be
that's their selling point.
But since they started to do these packages, it's a good job. I think they're making the mistake that if you turn up on a Saturday, they'll still let you in.
Yeah.
So, from what I get, and again, I'm not involved, but people tell me now that there's not so many people buying packages because with the weather, you buy your package.
Unsure.
That's unpredictable.
But now you can turn up and you'll still get in.
You pay at the gate just.
But then that spoils it
because then everybody.
People are seeming to be buying the packages, and I mean, you take the Kirkistown seem to have.
Yeah,
I don't know how done this year, but the first year they did. I know they did very well.
I think they're near maxed out on their VIP packages already.
And Armoy seems to be going well, but Armoy has a real good group of supporters, workers.
Seems to have a strong following as well.
Yes, they have.
Workers, not turner-uppers.
No,
yes.
Workers. They have.
So they always run a brilliant race. You can see it was forced to them really through COVID. that they had to start bringing these packages out. I think Kirkistown was the first.
Kirkistown was the first because he even went against the centre. Fair play to them, and they decided they wanted to run their race. And the guys dug their heels in and went, and it was from what I gather pretty successful.
It worked.
Yeah,
it worked well.
Yep.
And there's obviously Armoy coming off the back of that.
Yes.
But as you say, if you're going to, if I could buy a ticket now, or wait until the day to make sure the weather's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But if they put their foot down with that side of things, you need a ticket to get in, and you have to pre-order it.
Yeah. But then you say, well, if 100 people turn up at the gate on a Saturday morning,
are you going to refuse them?
Yes, but I think if they did stuck to it, maybe it would pay off in the long run. People get used to dying. I mean, if you're going to a concert, you buy the ticket when they're on sale, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well,
whether it rains or not.
I know.
But,
Yeah.
And people are happy enough with that. They do have to start putting the foot down.
Yep.
Like the MCI, they've already started making changes with this class thing, so they're getting rid of some classes, and they're combining a couple of championships. But as you say, people get used to it.
Yeah.
So they don't like change.
No, but people always are this, no matter what, even in business, the officers, whatever at workplace, if you try to change something, there's always a resistance to it.
Yeah.
But as you,
do you think it's more predominant in this country though? Do you think this country is just an age-old tradition? No,
I don't think so.
No, I think it's just all over.
You're saying this country's full of wee scumbags?
I'm not saying that. It's just they love their traditions, don't they?
Yeah, certainly do.
Right, Billy, the next, well, I think we're ready enough for it, but the next bit I'm deadly interested to hear about is, we were loosely speaking about it as well, was...
You're making me nervous.
I'm not going to...
Keep going.
It won't be a bombshell here.
Keep going.
So obviously, you have a son, Marty, who's a renowned racer in this country, BSB champion, European Superstock 1000 podium finisher, Sunflower Trophy race winner. So I imagine Marty started racing motocross, did he, as a child?
Yep.
Can you tell us a wee bit about that?
Marty raced motocross. Obviously, I raced grass tracks and scrambles in my day, and then obviously Marty wanted to have a go, and that's where we did scrambles, motocross in those days, and he was reasonably handy at that. But then he fell in with bad company, Trevor Scott and those boys, and Ian Newton, and we were up at Kirkistown at the supermotos.
Yes.
And Paul Bird was there, and Marty was in his 250, and Paul was in the 500. And you go down by the control tower and in and out.
Yeah.
And Marty took Birdie as he went out, went through that. And Newton says, "Right, boy, you need to bring this boy over to the British Championship. I'll get you a 250 Aprilia."
Yes. So is this the Aprilia RSs? So that would be like a challenge.
That was how, and then we were able to use that over here in the 400 class. So Newton said he would get us sorted with an Aprilia. Now, knowing Ian, we still had to pay for it.
Yeah.
But that was brilliant. And then Trevor Scott. Trevor was brilliant. Trevor came on board, and Trevor's a smart guy, and he looked after the bike and whatnot all, and we enjoyed that. And the first year, good. The second year, we were running for the championship on the last day.
Yeah.
And Mark Newell, he was a British Superbike winner.
Yes.
And Marty, and there was about 3 or 4 of them in it, and coming down foggy S's into the last lap. Marty was third, but in good position. But there was a wee Scottish buddy and he came down in below Marty and sort of put Marty off. But Marty went down into the loop, and really, the red mist was down. And as he came out of the loop, she spun and off. So that was £10,000 down the drain. That's where they were giving us
the prize money then.
They were giving a new Aprilia as a prize,
right.
and that's what it was worth.
And so, what year would that have been? If just keep the timeline.
You keep time. You keep asking.
I'm always fascinated with dates.
He loves dates.
Do you?
I do. I like it. I did.
They do my head in.
I would say that was about 2000 and 2002, 2003.
Yeah, so
around
turn
that.
of the millennium.
Because then the next year, fair enough, we didn't get the bike, but Newton gave him a ride. Yeah, they supplied him with a Aprilia, him and Wolseley Coulter.
So that would have been the thousands.
Aye,
the
the
millies.
Millies, yeah.
And was that in British Superstock?
British Superstock.
That would have been a handful.
And European. So you were doing that in the same year back? Like,
Aye. The deal we had was Newton looked after the bike for Superstock, but we looked after the bike for Europeans. It was our responsibility.
So how many weekends of the year were you them all?
Never away, never at home.
Never at home?
No,
never doing any work?
No, work. Like a past man. No, I was lucky. We had good girls in the office. And the office I kept going. And even when we were racing, I mean, the commentators were good to us. Like Jimmy Woodham and what do you call that? Like Fred Clark and those boys. They were always, because Marty was thereabouts, and Nutt Promotions or Nutt Travel was always getting mentioned.
Yeah.
So where
steady stream of work.
It cost us a bit of money, but it got our name out. And then when he went to ride for Cometry Ducati, I had nothing to do. So then I got involved with Tours de Merlin, and Marty they helped to sponsor us there. And then I took a stand and promoted Tours de Merlin to. I did about 2.5, 3 years. And I was away 25 weekends.
Is that right?
Half the year you were away.
But Marty was racing. But see, the Ricky and the Cometry Ducati, he was absolutely brilliant. If we'd haven't had him 10 years earlier,
is that right?
We could have. Marty
you could have changed it.
Yeah.
So that was when he was doing the Ducati Cup stuff.
Yes,
later on.
Yes.
But at the start, so you were doing British Superstock.
We did, first of all, we did the 250 Aprilia.
250 Aprilias.
And then we went to Superstock.
And did you do that for a couple of years?
We do that for a few years, and then he rode for Russell Russell Savory and the Hondas.
Okay.
He rode for him for a year or two, and then the second year, I think Russell.
Was
the
that
Hondas,
a yellow Honda?
That might have been.
I have it in my memory about a yellow. That was in BSB, wasn't it? That was in some big class. Yes.
But the Hondas were getting near the end of their tether, and they weren't really competitive. But we were still riding them. And then the next year we went back to Superstock, and Kieran McCormick, a guy from home here that has a big business over in England, he came on board and he built the truck for us and supplied the truck, and came and him and his wife fed us and whatnot all, so. But no, Marty would, and even the 250 or the 1000 Suzuki that we had, that was pretty good, but it wasn't the best. The bike was dead on, but we hadn't got the equipment to make it, or the team to make it go. It was me and a couple of other boys, and don't know much about motorbikes.
No. And do you think, even, we're talking 20 years ago, so
that's near your date of birth.
It's not far away. Not far away. So I know from my own experience how important a good team is around you, and having your infrastructure and your equipment. And it's not even having the shiniest, best stuff. It's how you can extract the best out of it. Do you think that you lacked that at the start of Marty's career?
Yep.
And
no, the wee 250 Aprilia with Trevor Scott. No,
Trevor's still very good. So
that bike was as good as any. And Marty, I mean, don't forget, Marty had never ridden. Marty went straight from motocross till British
straight on the 250
Aprilia, and he'd never seen Alton Park or Donington Park or anything. So that first year, everything was
which
new
is very impressive. I mean, be at the front of any sort of British championship is very impressive, especially in like your first year of riding it. You know what I mean? So that would have probably. I imagine that perked a lot of years up at the time, especially if Ian Newton's off and you're right the following year. So going off kind of what we've heard so far, Marty's career at the very start, it was a very fast forward progression, straight in. It's very rarely you hear someone going straight to BSB.
Yeah, I know. No.
If you know what I mean, straight from the grass to BSB.
Well, you get no bad habits. I mean, if you take Alistair Seeley, Alistair was winning everything here, and he went over to BSB, and I was talking to him the Friday evening, and he didn't even qualify.
Yeah.
But it's such a different setup and everything. But that's what we started doing. So Marty didn't know any better.
Yeah.
So it's bad habits is in riding style, and
I understand what you're saying. Bad habits in terms of we have at your time maybe 3 tracks.
Yes.
And you get complacent.
Yeah.
I fully understand it myself. I go through that myself.
But that's where I made the mistake that I didn't push hard enough to get Marty into a team, because and that's what I'm trying to do with Rory at the minute. We've got him into the Haslams,
the Rocket Rugby.
And you know, there's a great, they've a fantastic setup there, and hopefully Rory tell the duck to water. Hopefully he is a good young fella.
And how come at that time you didn't push the team?
Because it wasn't easy getting into it. And we try to do too much ourselves and not get in to even we'd have got into a team of some sort. But again, you were handing out money. And you thought you could do it cheaper, but you can't.
No.
You know, you're always missing. I mean, if you take Haslam, what the set they have for the rookies, you know, unbelievable from what we have seen and what they've promised us. Maybe this time next year it'll be a different story. But you know, they've won it twice, the championship, and they seem to, and that's what Marty must, and a lot of it was my fault.
He has a ranch and all, doesn't he? The rookies, and they've got a ranch sort of thing.
We're going over next Saturday over for a training day, just to get Rory into the, and then they're going out. Haslam, they take the bikes out to Spain, not their bikes, their own, 4 of their own, and then you fly out and do your riding and fly home again. It obviously costs money, you pay for it, but
but at least there's the steps in place to do that now.
Yes, and I mean, there's a stepping stone. Rory can go as far as he wants to wherever, because Haslams have that there. They've been, I mean, Ron has been, Leon has been, you know, so it's all there in place, and we've got Rory in the middle of it, so hopefully, I think Rory will, because he's really conscientious, and I think he
I switched on kid, like.
Yeah, he is.
Especially at that age, because that's where you do your most absorbing, you know what I mean?
He baffles me with all the stuff he comes out with. But that's not how to do
typical,
me.
it's just a kid, typical kid.
You
said there, you mentioned, it surprised me a wee bit. I was talking over you, and I apologise, but just whenever you said it was your fault, you don't blame yourself for.
I sort of blame myself that I could maybe did it different and gave Marty a better opportunity.
But could it have been better, or does everything happen for a reason?
Everything happens for a reason, but if I could have got Marty into the setup that with Rory and at the minute, and looking at the opportunities and the people that would be around him, you know, that's what we were missing. You know, if you take Haslams, everybody knows Ron and Leon, and they know what they do. They have the good connections. They've been to World Superbikes, GPs, and everything. And there's a path there for Rory to go down, where Marty never did have that path. We were just trying to do the best. You know, I'm not saying it didn't work.
There wasn't really anything like that, but surely
there wasn't. Which was a problem too.
I know that there has been a few teams and a few setups like that in the past.
Yes, they have.
That have tried and failed. If you know what I mean. So you're obviously, I understand where you're coming from, because at the time you're probably a bit dubious. You're probably going into these teams. They're looking X amount of money, and we're not talking about a couple of quid here. We're talking
thousands.
Thousands. And it's only getting more as well. Like, so you don't want to be handing over 50 grand to a team for them to blow it. Marty Nutt to get, at least you know what you have with your money. If you know
that happened once, and then that caused me grief. You know, because we had to pull out of it and move somewhere else. I don't like pulling out of it, but we were getting nowhere, and we were told that, you know, to get Marty out of that, or he's going to get hurt.
Right, okay.
And things like that. So
with a certain team.
Right. Yeah, and that just the bikes just were, oh God, they were hard. Yeah. And on the face of it, they should have been good bikes, but they weren't.
Was this the stock days? The stock days?
I'm not saying no more. because you know the guy did still, but he tried his best. But
it wasn't working. It wasn't happening. There would be a lot of cases we don't even see where there's obviously a lot of families have put a lot of money into a certain team, and it's not what they expected. You know what I mean?
Remortgaging houses and everything, and scary sometimes.
Crazy. You always think the grass is greener. Sometimes going to a team or going something like that. I really hope it works well for Rory as well. But I understand what you done at the start, where you were, at least if you ran your own team, you had your own control and you weren't worrying that someone's going to take it away from you.
Or you had a big bill at the end of it.
A big bill or something unnecessary.
Aye, but you knew what you had and you paid. Paid each week or whatever, and you knew who you were standing.
Yeah.
It is really hard work going to the British, and you need to get the support because locally, if you take young Swan, look, the time it has taken him to get where he is now, and now he seems to have got a bit of structure about him. I don't know him when he looked from the outside in. Young, they won the 600 championship. Fella from Donegal. Reese. I mean, he started off with Trevor Scott.
That's right.
And he got in. Ben Wilson's a good lad, and Michael from Gearlight.
Yes.
They're a solid team, and have been there, have done it, and I was so pleased to see them winning.
These guys have stuck to it.
Yes,
they have been doing it for years, and they've been able. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of Scott well, don't you? Plenty of sacrifices.
Oh yes,
plenty of
there's
money
a lot
spun. So
I don't have to explain to you, Billy, but a lot of these guys have had a lot of shit rounds at BSB. If you know what I mean, it's bouncing back from that. It's keeping the grind, and at the end it does pay off. If you know what I mean, but it's that struggle, it's keeping your momentum and keeping the motivation to keep going.
It's hard, and I mean the 1000cc class, I suppose, is maybe the most competitive, but it's also the most affordable out of all of them. The 600s is worse than Superbike.
Checkbook racing.
We did the 600 on the Yamaha, and see a set of valves was £1,600.
I know.
And you should have. We didn't, because McElnay did our engines before, and then we went to Raceway to get there, because McElnay's was a solid engine, but it just didn't have the speed, and Raceway's had the speed, but it didn't have the reliability, because we weren't. But we should have been sending the head away. We should have had two heads. One away, one back.
It's near like the two-stroke days then, stripping them all again.
They were hard to fodder.
Especially the R6. I know the Kev Stevenson engines.
Yes.
What are they, titanium valves or?
No, so basically, as far as I remember, because when I was racing for Martrain, we used his engines, but I think you give him a brand new engine. Don't quote me on this, but I think you get £10,000 and you get a quick engine back.
Oh right, okay.
So, and obviously you need a couple of them in a year, like.
Yeah.
It's just being in the right place at the right time. And we missed out a couple of times on that. Marty being in the right place at the time he got Haslip Superbikes. We were in the right place, but unfortunately crashed. And that was him out for nearly the season, and even when he went back again he was still slow at getting up to where he had been, because obviously at comebacks, you know what it's like coming back. It takes a wee bit of time to get up to speed.
Takes a bit of time.
For the brain
No, Marty did us proud, well proud of
wow.
what he did. And I mean, that Sunflower one, he'd have won the 6 races that day if I hadn't pulled him in. Anyway, we had won the Sunflower and the first Superbike, and then the second Superbike, he was going out, and they threatened rain, but they put out, I think they held up a wet board.
Right, okay.
And we were in slicks because we thought, slick. And then it did start to rain, and I thought, look, we've won 5 races. I do not want Marty to be coming off and getting hurt. It's the end of the season and things. So I pulled him in. And then it dried up.
Oh no.
And I'm not saying he could win much. Marshall O'Neill won it, you know, but he might have won it.
Yeah.
And that was 6. I don't think anybody's ever done 6.
But then he might have came off and
yes,
got hurt.
you know, because I was thinking of Brian Reid at the Northwest. Brian had won the 250 class, the Northwest. Now next time came off and we thanks for that. But look, it is what it is. We were happy with getting
that's actually a good question. We need to find out about that. Has anyone ever won 6 races in a day?
At the short circuit.
At short circuits. At Sunflower.
Yeah.
I doubt it, like.
So we nearly had 6 at Mandela one year too.
Yeah.
It's even harder going.
Well, we had the 250 Aprilia and we had the 250 Honda. Had we something else?
That's something you don't see as often as well, is someone riding multiple classes.
Yeah.
To get that.
Yeah.
No, not anymore.
I remember Marty coming in.
Not easy done.
Yeah, saying to me, "What bike am I going out on next?"
Yeah.
You know,
I remember at Bishop's Court even in my day, I was riding the it was the Martrain R6. I had the Superbike Raymond Lilly Superbike. The Scud Missile they called it, and then I had the 250 Honda and the 350 TZ 350.
Some work.
I actually see at the end of the day. I remember coming on off. It was Sandy McCutcheon's 250. I came in after the race, and I stood on the pegs to jump over the bike on the other side. I couldn't feel my legs. I just felt like I fell into the ground and dropped the bike in front of everyone. And I was like, I was squandered. But you know, I was racing that amount of races and then jumping on that big armchair of Raymond Lilies, you know, and wrestling it around for 12 laps. You know.
But anyway, sure, young fellas.
Yeah,
any more sense,
and a lot fitter than what I was.
So let's see, out of all your kind of, obviously you're racing with Marty, you've done loads of stuff, done the European stuff, you've done Superbike stuff. Have you got any like real fond memories of the European stuff to start off with? Obviously going to, you know, you're going to like your Monzas and your Jerez and stuff.
The fond memories wasn't nothing to do with the racing. It was a party after.
That's even better.
In Slachen, I'm sure that, and Isabel would correct me, in Germany. And the Aston was the next week again, so we all decided to stay over. And oh boy, it was hit rough. I went to bed eventually, but God, it was rough.
Right,
and I was full enough to leave the scooter in the awning with the keys on it, and they were riding around the and Jimmy Ellison, we couldn't get his car started in the morning because I think they'd left the battery or something. So, you know, it was some fun. But the Europeans were always good fun at it. But the thing is, usually once the race was over, even the superbikes were still on, we were heading for home. But because we stayed over, in the road racing, one of the highlights for me was Owen McNally winning the 250 race at the Northwest and Bobby Mullins in Aprilia.
1997.
Was it? Because Owen lived in the circuit, you know, and Bobby's a local man, and he bought, you know, Bobby wouldn't have been a motorbike man, but he a car dealer, and he bought Owen this 250 Aprilia, and Wolseley was there. They were all there that day. And Owen, well, that was.
And was it like just an electrifying like atmosphere that day?
I'm sure there was,
just
but
like
I never really got.
never really got absorbed into it
because the next race was coming. You know, and then the other time was after Mervyn Robinson got killed. Joey was not all that happy about coming back again, and eventually I got Barry Simmons to guarantee if Joey wanted to ride, he would give him the bikes and everything, and you know, the usual thing. And then Joey did decide he was going, and on the way down into Metropole, a bloody dog ran out in front of him.
Flipping heck,
as well, you know, and that was one of the days. So it was a big sigh of relief when it was all over. Getting Joey back safe and sound. We had plenty of bad days as well, but no, that was what it is. What it is.
It's been a good run, and I know we're just probably nearly wrap it up soon. But what? In you and Marty's kind of own racing, what's your proudest achievement?
That's a good one.
Well, obviously winning the Ducati Championship was brilliant because he'd been trying and then he came back from injury, and he was, you know, but no, he didn't want to go out just quit after he got hurt.
It's something nice to have. Is
Yes,
just a
yeah.
British title,
Aye.
and they don't give them away.
No,
like
they don't give it away.
you have to work for them. Like,
he
and
fought
that's
for that, alright, so
that's one thing that Marty will always have. Like he'll be Marty and Marty not British champion.
And winning the Champion of Champions was good.
Yeah,
you know, I actually felt sorry for Eugene, you know, but it was fair. It wasn't things like that, you know. So, but no, just winning was
just
you know, when he's riding in the Super Cup, that was good. I mean, we had some course straps there with a few boys and things like that, you know. The biggest problem we had with the super bikes was we didn't get the top grade of tires because they had sort of 3 levels.
Was this
of
the
tires.
Tire War era?
It might have been.
Yeah.
The good teams, the high teams, got the development tire for that year. The next team, Superbike team, got last year's development, and then we got a third rate because we complained about it, and then they decided they would give us the middle one. And honestly, we were getting half second a second.
Is that right?
From a tire?
Just from one level up?
Yes. You know, and that's hard to accept because, you know, you're putting the effort. You're putting the effort in. You were finishing maybe 10th, 11th, 12th, but see,
it was a grade of tire was making the difference.
Tires.
And was there?
And
I know the tires is everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But how did you? Obviously, you went to the likes of what was Dunlop at the time?
Aye.
Dunlop saying.
Was it Dunlop or Prelli? No, I think it was Dunlop. It was Dunlop's, yes.
Obviously, you are still paying for your tires here. Well, everyone's paying for your tires.
I wasn't. Dunlop gave us a pretty good deal because they would come to the Northwest and all, and they'd given us.
Pat was pretty good. Like.
Yeah, but if you're getting a good deal on shit tires,
for good tires,
you know what I mean? Like, how do you even? No. Is it just? How did Dunlop?
There's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing you can do about it. It was just you're in that structure.
That's what you're getting, and that's the structure. Yeah. That's where you were in.
It's just it's glorified nearly cheating. If you know what I mean.
But
if that happened today, you'd be cracking up.
They are still doing that today. There's different levels of tires.
Is there?
Well, from maybe 2019, 2018.
Really?
I think it's kind of fairly.
Yes,
I know where you're coming from. There's like a different band of
tires for like John McGuinness. You know, John McGuinness gets a different compound than what I would have. I was lucky enough with Dunlop that I got some of the. Well, sometimes I was the guinea pig. You know, go out and test this. You know, but it was a really good compound tire, and they'd have told me that's the tire John gets.
We couldn't believe the difference when they gave us the second grade tire instead of the third grade. You know, there was
first grade
time in it. There was time in it.
Yeah.
And then you spending all that money too. And
that's it. You spend everything you got, and you're being held back by something like that.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
But that's you had to do the cup to get up to the next stage. So it's a vicious old circle.
So you feel like everything's holding you back and everyone's against you nearly.
No, you just didn't think that way. You just went on and done the best you can. Yeah. And the only thing is when you come back home and you finished 15th, 10th, 12th, whatever, not much use. But to understand, the one good thing when Marty was doing the 250, we had Ian Duffus and David Jeffers in it.
Yep.
And Marty was beating them quite often.
Yep.
You know, and that was good publicity for us.
Yeah, because it showed the gauge when they were over here. Yes.
But then, because they gauged them as road racers over here, and you know, they were top men.
Yeah.
But in the super bikes, it was different. In the Super Cup, you were still only you know, if you got up to the 10th, you were going very seldom. That happened. It was usually in around the 15th mark you would have got to. But that's what it was, and we were happy to get that.
Yeah.
But
so close.
It's no mean feat as well.
No,
No.
Marty did really. You know, and there is a lot of people appreciated that Marty was a fairly good rider, but Marty would have nothing of it, you know.
He's so laid back. So laid
tell me about it.
Like I was talking earlier about that time we went to A Sports and we didn't even know you were there.
No,
you know, until he rockets past and I'm like, oh no, not again.
No, yeah, that was good. We enjoyed that. And then I don't know what happened in the Hislop because they drew the numbers out of the hats and things, you know, and Marty was very near the back.
Is that right?
But he was coming through. He finished third,
Yeah.
but he was gotten in the first lap. There was somebody went down in front of him and took him way out or something. But he came through.
He was out in the spud fields.
Aye, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that was quite. And then we went over and seen Concord.
Right.
That's across the road, isn't it? Yeah, I've heard about that.
Fantastic piece of kit. But the seats are so wee and the whole thing.
There's talks about coming back.
Aye, they
Concord,
are.
Strange that it's in a shed across the field and fucking arsehole nowhere and stuff.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
That's bizarre.
Brilliant.
Right. I have one more question. I don't know about you. We've talked about this before. We're going to ask all our guests the same question at the very end to get us going. Out of all,
Or get us stopped.
To get us so you can kick us out the door.
So, out of all, obviously you've met thousands of people throughout racing and all kind of series and road racing and stuff. Who's the biggest live wire, Billy? Who's the biggest nutbag?
Nutbag?
Who's the biggest nutbag?
Oh, come on, you know that without me telling you.
Who?
Come on.
Oh, come on. Don't, it's not my answer, it's your answer.
Who are you working for?
Phillip McCallen.
Phillip is still a live wire.
Yeah.
And that's what you asked me.
Yes.
Phillip is, I have a lot of time for Phillip. Boy, does he try hard. And see, when he was riding in the British Superstock, Phillip always fought hard to get the best of stuff, and he always had pretty good stuff. But he's a nightmare trying to get him, you know, even when we run the shows, the shows and things, you know, never could get him to meetings in the time. You never could. But really? No, Phillip.
Phillip's the biggest live wire. I can't wait to tell him
Brilliant.
tomorrow.
Well, you don't have to tell him. This will be out soon.
Yeah.
Just let him watch.
Have you any other questions?
I mean, there's a lot of good writers about, you know, but Phillip was just that. You know, do you see him? He just goes, and he's still the same.
Oh, he's still the same. He'd still come down the stairs, seeing any Monday, and he'd be coming out. He'd be like singing, I know, Christian hymns and stuff. Just just being mental, just all this stuff. May the Lord be with you, Corey. But it's all like satire stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I
too
still
many TikToks maybe.
Too many of some, too many hits in the head. But listen, Billy, thank you very much for your time. I've really enjoyed this. I don't know about you, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you, boy. Okay. Cheers. Well, all right. Do you want a cup of coffee before you go?
What time is it?
We don't know.
9:45.
We'll scoot up the road, sure.
You sure?
Get that. I know. Thanks very much, Billy.
Thank you very much, Billy. That was really fun.
Okay, but when's this going out and how do you get it?
So we have it on YouTube and podcasts and
you just
stuff.
go on to
YouTube
let
and type in Billy Nutt. I'll send
me the links or whatever.
I'll send you the links.
Was that the camera there?
So we'll have this here on that. So this is actually similar quality to that.
Unbelievable cameras and stuff nowadays.
But
I should have got a cup of water instead of.
So what's that, about an hour and a half?
Do that.
Yeah,
no, that's perfect. That's perfect. But no, it's good fun, man.
And will you stream that?
So we'll have that linked up to our audio, and